Welcome to Olympian Water Testing, giving you the best in water analysis. Today we're looking at the University of Massachusetts Amherst at the Center for Agriculture, Food, and the Environment. And we're taking a look how copper affects private drinking water in wells. So private well owners are responsible for the quality of their drinking water, and the EPA does not regulate private wells. Homeowners with private wells are generally not required to test their drinking water, although local boards of health or mortgage lenders may require well water testing. And while there's also no state requirement to have your well water tested, it is recommended that all homeowners with private wells do so and use a state-certified testing laboratory. And homeowners can use public drinking water standards as guidelines to ensure drinking water quality. So what is the summary that they found? Copper rarely occurs naturally in drinking water, but it can often result as a corrosion of the plumbing system. And this can be especially true in wells if the well is older and the system starts to corrode, then particles can leak into the water system. And too much copper in the human body can cause stomach and intestinal distress, such as nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and stomach cramps. And if the test results indicate the presence of copper, removal options include replacing copper pipes, fixtures, managing water used for drinking, cooking by flushing the water from the system used, and treating the water with home equipment, or using an alternative water source if you need to. And elevated levels of copper are present in your drinking water, and the home treatment is necessary. Treatment options include raising the water's pH, ion exchange, reverse osmosis, and distillation. And we can also see some potential health effects, such as the issue where we were talking about gastrointestinal problems, although we can also see it can cause stomach intestinal distress, such as nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach cramps. You can also find that there's a metallic taste in your drinking water before the copper levels are high enough to cause adverse health effects, and the lowest level at which these adverse effects occur has not been defined, and you can take a look at what's going on. But you can also see that copper piping and fitting are used quite a lot in your house, and the physical and chemical characteristics of the water may vary, including its corrosive properties. And private well owners should be concerned with the pH of their groundwater supply. If you want to take note of this, if it is an indicator of the acid or alkaline condition of water, and the pH scales raise from 0 to 14. 7 indicates theoretical neutral point, and the water with a pH value less than 7 indicates acidity and tends to be corrosive, while water with a value greater than 7 indicates alkalinity and tends to affect the taste of water as well. And also, testing for copper in private drinking well water is something that you want to try as well. To determine if the copper is present, you need to take time and arrange to test your drinking water at a state-certified laboratory, and you can find the laboratory instructions. Be careful to avoid contamination to obtain a good sample, to elevate the household's highest level of copper exposure, and collect a sample when the water has remained motionless or stagnant in the plumbing system for at least 6 hours. And when collecting the sample, collect the flush first of water from the faucet, and do not allow any water to run before collecting the sample. This is actually called a first draw or a first flush, and the first flush will contain the highest levels of copper. After the tap has run for 1 minute, collect a second sample, and that's just called a flush sample, and it provides water sample that has not been in contact with the plumbing system for an extended period of time. It also has instructions here about how to flush and do everything. But if you own a private drinking well, it is possible that corrosiveness can happen and copper particles can leach. And you can see all of the effects from gastrointestinal problems, distress, organ problems, and you want to avoid all that. So it's always a good idea to have your water periodically tested and see what the copper levels are.